Hello and welcome back to Hot Takes, where we take the hottest takes we can find,
smash them,
put them in a cauldron, mix them up a bit, and just see what comes out.
and then smash them.
Today we're going to be smashing 2 opinions of football and 1 nonsense opinion.
How are we going down to the basement as well?
We are going down to the basement, especially him. He loves the basement. He's not on it today, but somebody else will be. We'll try and find somebody. Me and Dougie are on today.
Yeah, first time I think.
Never been on camera together apart from Stat Wars. That was a bit
magical times.
Let's get on with it. Let's have a great time. Let's have a great time.
Rough.
So our first hot take comes from Stuart Kirk, also known as Captain Kirk. I like that. I was going to make the joke, but you already made it yourself. Well done, you. He says Sebastian Haller will be the signing of the season.
He's definitely in the mixer. He's 25, Frenchman, had 2 fantastic years at Frankfurt, particularly last year. I think he got something like 20 goals, 5 assists in the league and Europa League. They obviously got to the semi-finals of the latter, linked up really well with the likes of Jovic, Ante Rebic, Kostic. Looks like he can do a bit of everything, can lead the line by himself, play as a number 10. But I think there'll be quite a lot of pressure on him. Yeah. West Ham strikers of recent times haven't had the best of times of it. Arnautovic had a good probably half season last year, then slightly slipped away. But I think he's probably in the running for signing of the summer so far. Obviously, Arsenal are looking to bring in Danny Ceballos on loan, which I think could be a master stroke. Spurs might get Lo Celso over the line too. And then there's been some quite interesting moves at the bottom of the Premier League as well. I think Che Adams going to Southampton, that could potentially be really exciting. Absolutely killed it in the Championship last year. They haven't had a striker who can consistently score for ages. And Ralph Hasenhüttl's men really improved towards the back end of the year. So if he hits the ground running, that could be really exciting. And then on the continent, I'd give a shout out to Brian Cristante, joining Roma for 13.5 million. Not very much money. Looked like he could do it all last year in the centre of the park. So yeah, he'd be my outside shout. But what are your general feelings on Haller?
You laid it all on there, didn't you?
I got it all down.
I wouldn't say Haller would be my signing of the season. I think there've already been smarter moves, but I think he's a fantastic acquisition. I think right now the West Ham kind of project looks fantastic. To be fair, they brought in really good players.
They've really pulled their
great
finger out,
manager. Considering a few years ago they had fans running onto the pitch at Burnley with the corner flag.
The riot.
They've really turned it around. And I think right now, as I said, is an exciting time to be a West Ham player. I think there's been a lot of acquisitions from the Bundesliga to the Premier League that have worked really well. There's very few players who have come over who have done worse than they were doing in the Bundesliga.
Good point, James.
They've come over and they've thrived. You look at Firmino, Sane, Dzeko, Aubameyang, all these players, Son, all these players have come over and thrived. Maybe they could have thrived once again in the Bundesliga, but the change between the leagues hasn't been difficult for them at all. But I would say my personal shout at the moment, anyway, has to be Tielemans. I think he's already proven within that team how good he is, and to get him on a permanent for a lesser price than Haller, he'll be so much more deadly. And I think that if you're comparing the two and the impact of the team for the price and where those teams, because they're both going for the same kind of positions, I think Tielemans will provide more to push them onto that kind of 7th place finish.
Tielemans is another good shout, but thinking more the sort of bargain buys, what are you making of Angelino coming back to Man City for something like £5.3 million?
I mean, we all want it to work. We all want it to work, but for some reason, there's a deep-lying doubt.
You're a bit nervous.
Yeah, because we've seen him pre-season, he's looked extremely nervous.
Did he gave away a penalty against West Ham?
It's only pre-season, but it's still that's where the nerves shouldn't be, and there's already nerves there. Hopefully we can shake out of him. And it's a bit weird buying a left-back, considering we've got Zinchenko, who's been fantastic, and we've given a bumper contract to. Andy seems fit. So it does seem a bit weird.
Although you have sold Delph, I suppose.
Yeah, but I can't say that a bargain signing of Angelino Angelino would be the bargain signing of this season so far. I think there are probably a few better shouts out there. I can't really think of any, but I know for some reason, deep down, he won't be as good as I think.
Fair enough.
Move on. We're going downstairs. I can hear it.
Uh-oh, there's a rumble.
There's a rumble.
There's a freak from FD down there, ready to release. Let's hear what they got to say.
Oh, ready to release. That's awful.
Does it?
Yeah.
Ready to release?
Ooh.
Here we go. Okay, so it's Thursday morning. No one's been put in the schedule to do their own personal hot take because no one wants to stand in front of the camera and come off a moron through lack of preparation. That happens enough on other shows. So here I am with one that absolutely booted off on my timeline, and it is that churros as a dessert, tremendously overrated. Just penis-shaped donuts, okay? And yes, my penis is that crinkly. I'm extremely dehydrated at all times. They're dry, and the sauce congeals, it hardens. I haven't got enough spittle on my tongue.
What the hell is that?
Tongue. To make my way through more than one churro. So when I buy a churros to share, I only have singular. The person sharing with me gets plural. So there's a personal agenda there. Yeah? Girlfriend always gets 3. Yes, I have a girlfriend. Despite looking a little bit effeminate, I'm not. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that George Wright strongly disagrees with me here. The man is made of syrup. All he eats is donuts at work, and as a result has scurvy. He has scurvy and he has rickets. If you cut that man, he will bleed out, he will die. What else do I have to say? What else is a hot take other than, you know, my podcast might be better than Joe Rogan's? Might. Some have said it. Josh Davo says it on every video because he's loyal. And you should all be more like Josh Davo. Is this the worst trip to the basement there's been all series? Quite possibly. That's it. Okay, let me know what your most overrated dessert is in the comments below with hashtag DessertGate, and whether you agree that churros are simply dry, just lazy donuts, and you know, the sauce doesn't even compensate. What is the best dessert? Lemon meringue, bang, see you later. F you. No, not you, I meant churros.
You can tell that person really wanted to be here. And if you really want to be here, why don't you subscribe to the channel? Click the notification bell so you don't miss a video. It's all fun, all the time on Football Daily and Eurofootball Daily.
It's relentless.
And Squad Goals.
The next hot take comes from friend of the channel, Room Cobra. How you doing, mate? He has asked, Zidane is an awful manager. He is nowhere near the elite category of manager. He hasn't really asked that, he's stated it. James, what are your thoughts on this?
Bit harsh, Cobra.
You crazy Room Cobra.
It's. I mean, to be fair, if you are like, people say that Zidane isn't a great manager because he inherited this great team and blah blah blah, and his kind of hasn't got an identity of play and all this. But in any job, if your team can perform beyond what is normal in any job, take Sainsbury's for example. If you can run a team that can stack the shelves brilliantly, make sure there's no queues, make sure everything's working, it's clean, it's fresh, the sales are up, everything's great. You praise the managers. It doesn't matter how it's done, doesn't matter if they're drilling them, if they're just making them feel good about themselves. As long as the team is working in the way it should be, beyond the realms of their normal job.
Ability.
God,
okay.
Yeah.
So what are you saying that Zidane would be good at saying it?
Back into football. He's won the Champions League 3 times. Fair enough if his tactics aren't quite there, but the man management is still management. So if you can make players feel good about themselves, good enough to perform beyond themselves and win trophies that hasn't been done in the modern era of football, then you have to give credit to the manager. Fair enough, I will say that he won't do as well in his second stint because he's got such high expectations and he has not got that squad. So maybe he can, you know, make a few players better here and there.
Although you say he hasn't got the squad, they've spent over 300 million this summer. They should be competing.
That squad,
there'll be no excuse.
That squad was
it was a joke. I mean, you had peak Cristiano Ronaldo, you had Kroos and Modric, two of the best midfielders of the last 10 years at their peak.
Exactly.
But I'm quietly confident for Zidane going into his second stint. I think Barcelona have a lot of issues behind the scenes. I don't think Valverde will necessarily last that long. They could have a quite unhappy camp. Potentially lots of big stars not getting regular minutes. And then throw Neymar into the mix as well. I could think it could be a topsy-turvy summer season for them even. But I still put them as favourites. But Zidane, I know what you mean, it's difficult to judge him, and man management shouldn't be just put down. But does he have the sort of tactical flexibility of someone like an Allegri? Does he have the sort of the tactical philosophy of someone like Guardiola or Klopp? I'm not quite sure. But as you say, in a club like Real Madrid, keeping everyone happy is the main thing. And also, look how badly they did last season without him.
Exactly.
Obviously, they lost Cristiano Ronaldo, which was a huge loss. But suddenly, all their deficiencies, which were even there in the Zidane era, like a leaky defence, Marcelo being poor defensively, not having the, most necessarily the most solid goalkeeper, although Keylor Navas did do a pretty good job considering his ability, all sort of came back to bite them, and it was an absolutely shocking campaign going through 2 managers. So, I don't know. I don't think Zidane's awful, but I'm not overwhelmed by him.
I think if you're getting elite category, which is the statement that they've thrown him into, I think fair enough. If you're taking a manager as a whole, being you have to keep everyone happy while having these tactics, that makes an elite manager, yes. But you can still be great only having one of them, if that makes sense. So I'd say he's great, a great manager who has done great things. But yeah, if you're thinking of the world's best managers of all time, you don't put Zidane in that category. I think it's a bit harsh, but I kind of see where you're coming from.
Just quickly, top 10 managers of the world, is he in it?
No.
No. For me, he's scraping into 9th or 10th, potentially. Let's move on to our non-football hot take. Our non-football hot take comes in from Ollie Trussler-Jones. Thank you very much, Ollie. He says, Love Island is the most boring show on TV. Now, there's a bit of a split here. James, give your opinion first. What are you thinking?
I couldn't care less about hot takes. This is hot takes. I do care about hot takes. And I couldn't care less about Love Island. For me, it's pointless. My girlfriend watches it. Seems like everybody in the office watches it. I just find it boring. There's loads of random people you don't know or care about, talking about stuff you don't know or care about, pretending to like each other, falling in love within a week and then being upset about it because the other person did something that they don't like. Oh, I better leave the show. I don't care. I found it a very productive time though in my life. Everyone's talking about Love Island, everyone's doing their stuff. I think maybe I should do something productive with this time, and I have been.
Yeah.
But to say it's
designing the likes of this
free promo, but to say it's the most boring show, I get why people like it. I understand it's like the gossip that you like in school that you don't get anymore because life, your kind of social circle shrinks and you don't have anyone to bitch or moan about. So that's kind of...
It's deep, I like it.
That's kind of, what's it called? Not release.
It's a unity.
No, what's that? Escapism.
Escapism, okay.
So you get to moan about these people you don't really know. You could be really harsh on them if you want because there's no consequences to it. But it's not the most boring show in the world. Have you seen Cash in the Attic?
Martin, this is interesting, isn't it?
Oh yeah, so the wax.
It's a wax. Oh yes, it's wax. Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
Wax.
Yeah.
Homes Under the Hammer.
George behind the camera suggested Songs of Praise as well. That could be right in there. But I'll defend Love Island. I could live without it, but I do enjoy it. I've watched it for the last 2-3 seasons now. Not an absolute addict to the show, but it is a nice thing to do. You got an hour a day, except for a Saturday, and it's just good to watch other morons try and get along. And
morons.
And you can feel, a lot of there's love, there's tension, there's betrayal, there's desertion, there's just a bit of everything. There's themes from life all condensed into it. I do sometimes feel like when I'm watching it, I can sort of feel my brain slowly melt.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a good talking point. I probably wouldn't want to talk about it as much as some of the lads in the office, because I think last week we managed to hit back 3 hours in a single day talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's a light relief. I've got nothing personally against it, but they do also need to sort out their how they look after people afterwards, because it's got a pretty bad record in that. So that is a massive negative. But otherwise, I think it's pretty harmless.
I would say if you don't like it, just get on with something else. Like I don't. When they talk about it in the office, I find it quite fun to get the picture up of the person, slag them off a bit, because that is what the program is essentially about: slagging off and moaning about people. If you don't like it, just ignore it.
Get on with it.
Just ignore it. Do something fun.
Or design your own hats.
Or go outside and hit a tree with a stick.
Bam. Right, so that was Hot Takes for another week. I hope you guys enjoyed our opinions. Let us know what you guys thought of our hot takes in the comments below. Make sure you get your hot takes for next week's show in there too. James, what should the good people go do now?
Go watch Squad Goals. It's a barrel of laughs, lots of fun, lots of screaming. if there's a lot of screaming in
A
this.
lot of barking as well.
Yeah, well, we'll find out about that. Also, hot takes. No, that's this one.
That's this one.
Stat Wars is out today.
Yes.
Go watch that later on today. And we've got loads of stuff. Just watch, subscribe, have
Watch
fun.
all of it. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Buy James's hat. See you next time.
You love this hat.
I love it.
Yeah. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
That's not what I've been doing, by the way. Love Island's on. Bang, bang, bang.